In 2020, we had a pandemic. COVID-19 hit the whole world really hard. In 2020, private equity didn't slow down. Deal flow did not stop. It actually picked up, especially in the fourth quarter of 2020. And it's continuing in 2021 as the pandemic still is around, but not as strong, which goes to show that we can still make deals without being face to face, which is a new dynamic for private equity. That said, there's a hidden balance sheet that comes behind a company that private equity and the companies that are going together need to understand. One partner needs to understand the other partner. What is not on the balance sheet that is important to the deal structure, and what can be mitigated, what can be managed, and what can be transferred in that hidden balance sheet. And I'm talking about digital transformation and cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is one of the largest risks we all face individually. Corporations, countries, nation states are all being attacked. Just today, we hear more about Microsoft's Exchange servers being compromised. 30% of companies have been compromised by SolarWinds. So how does a private equity company be assured of what they're investing in isn't already compromised or doesn't have bad guys lurking inside the company as they spend hundreds of millions of dollars to buy a company? There's many things that people need to do as teams to help to understand what digital transformation will do for their company, at the same time having a cybersecurity posture and keeping the company safe while they're creating this digital transformation. Digital transformation is really about taking data to the cloud, bringing on SaaS applications, making companies more efficient, having a bigger global footprint. In the world of COVID, everybody has been really in their homes or not going to offices, which has changed the way a lot of us do business and doing deals. So if a lot of the private equity firms that I've talked to, they said they're wanting to keep the deal flow going, but they also want to be assured that somebody has a clean cybersecurity posture. How does a company achieve that? Well, if we look at, there's over 9,000 deals in private equity being done all the time in the last couple of years. So those teams, they're very small, and the companies they are trying to merge or acquire, they may not even have a cybersecurity posture. So what has to happen is somebody has to have the right questions to ask so that they understand the material weaknesses, just like you would if you were a company that's a public company having to put your material weaknesses out into your 10K report. And that has to be done through diligence, a different kind of diligence, looking at that hidden balance sheet. What have they done? Have they bought cyber insurance? That's a big first step. If they've bought cyber insurance, then they've been asked a lot of the questions around the protocols that need to happen to keep a company safe. What liabilities lie ahead? What data do they have that they may not be using that they could get rid of that would cause a cybersecurity weakness because a threat actor might want to get to that data? Healthcare data, personal identifiable information, intellectual property that maybe shouldn't be on their network, that maybe should be air-gapped, source code, all the things that are very valuable to the asset side of the balance sheet need to be safeguarded and actually be able to transfer that risk using liabilities like cyber insurance, cyber liability insurance. Cyber liability insurance is as valuable as D&O. Everybody asks the company when they buy them, do they have D&O? But they don't always ask them if they have cyber liability. But every D&O in the company needs to make sure that they have cyber insurance in the background. And that what is the right amount to buy? That depends on somebody's risk tolerance. So these are all questions that should be asked if you're going to go through a private equity deal, if you're a private equity company, an investor, if you're an investment banking firm and you're doing a private equity or a venture deal, you need to be asking your clients these questions and then asking the investor, what is your tolerance? What will you do? What ratchets will you put into a term sheet if certain criteria around digital transformation and protocols around cybersecurity are not met? This really happens from the office of the CFO, and potentially sometimes companies don't have a CFO, office of the controller. If they have an office of finance, they need to be communicating with the office of IT. In some respects, some of them will have a security officer or a security director. Those three people have to come together and look and think about, how does that hidden balance sheet, the assets that they can actually point out that they've done, those are things that they've created, and looked at the risks, and they've assured those risks in comparison to the liabilities, things that they do in their business to operate their business that they can't get away from because it's inherent in how they do business. They may be using partners and they have a cyber ecosystem, and that may cause liabilities. So they need to weigh those assets and liabilities for a cybersecurity posture so that they can come up with a criteria. So when they go to the table and have evaluation, they're ready to understand their digital hidden balance sheet.